Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to break down the ultimate blueprint for developing elite basketball athleticism. If you've ever wondered what actually separates good players from those truly elite NBA caliber athletes, it really comes down to a very specific structural approach. The source material we're looking at takes a totally fascinating angle. It treats the basketball player's body exactly like a high-performance sports car. Think about it. You wouldn't just build a massively fast engine, right? You have to build a resilient frame to handle all that torque. You absolutely need to put the right high-octane fuel in the tank. And finally, you have to tune that engine for maximum output. So, let's dive right into this.
This brilliant quote from the Gatorade Sports Science Institute really sets the perfect stage for our analysis today. It beautifully illustrates this crucial trap that so many athletes, and honestly coaches too, fall into all the time. Raw physical training and spending endless hours in the gym, completely useless without the right high-octane fuel. You can literally have all the horsepower in the world, but if you ignore proper nutrition, it's just like putting diesel in a Ferrari. It's going to stall out when it matters most.
To give you the total package of athlete development, we're mapping out this blueprint in 3 quick phases. 1. Building the foundation. 2. Fueling the engine. And 3. Peaking for the pros.
All right, let's kick things off with phase 1, building the foundation, or as we like to call it, the resilient chassis. We're pulling directly from the Collegiate Strength and Conditioning Framework at the University of Washington here. And what's really interesting is their core philosophy. The absolute first step in this elite collegiate program isn't just jumping straight into heavy weights or running flashy vertical leap drills. No, the framework dictates that you first have to identify what actually keeps a player off the court in the first place. They start by analyzing the most critical vulnerabilities of the basketball chassis. Basically, they're treating injury prevention as the absolute baseline of performance.
So, look at these common threads: ankle sprains, knee tendonitis, hip joint pain. We see these all the time, right? But the root causes aren't usually just bad luck. These common injuries stem directly from weak posterior chains, poor balance, and, surprisingly enough, poor mobility in areas like the big toe, the Achilles, and the hips. Think about it like a chain reaction. If your big toe lacks mobility, that restriction travels all the way up the kinetic chain directly into your knees and hips every single time you jump or cut. This is exactly why the UW program strictly prioritizes foundational movement skills, hammering hamstring and glute strength before anything else.
But, structural strength is only half of the foundation. The other half is sheer endurance. To make sure this newly built chassis can actually endure a grueling season of high-paced play, the framework enforces some seriously intense aerobic standards. Get this, they require all healthy, non-injured athletes to run a 1-mile run in 5 minutes and 35 seconds or faster. That is a blistering, almost unbelievable pace for a basketball player of that size. But it absolutely guarantees their fitness base is strong enough to play a relentless game of catch us if you can, from tip-off all the way to the final buzzer.
Okay, moving right along to phase 2, fueling the engine for high-octane performance.
To keep this massive machine running, we have to look at the sheer volume of energy required. 4,600. That's a huge number, right? Well, that is the measured daily caloric expenditure of an elite, high school-aged male basketball player during the season. It really proves just how much energy this sport demands. If you don't intentionally replenish that exact type of energy, the body literally begins to break itself down.
So how do we meet those incredible demands without hitting a wall? The diet has to be strictly balanced. Carbs are absolute king here, making up 55% or more of total calories. This is your premium, high-intensity glycogen fuel for all that sprinting and jumping. When that runs out, that's when athletes get those heavy legs. We also see protein capped at about 1.4 to 1.7 grams per kilo of body weight to maintain lean mass. And notice that going higher than this isn't actually better. If excess protein displaces carbs in your diet, your muscles lose their preferred fuel source. Finally, healthy fats round out the rest to ensure proper hormone synthesis and keep the immune system firing. Now, how do we apply this practically? Well, here is a super actionable gold standard equation for your pregame meal. It's simple. Body weight in kilograms multiplied by the hours prior to tip-off equals the exact grams of carbohydrates needed. So, let's say a 68-kilogram player is eating 3 hours before the game. They'd need 204 grams of carbs. If they're eating just 1 hour prior, they only need about 68 grams. This scales your fuel intake perfectly. It tops off the liver's glycogen stores while totally avoiding those awful gastrointestinal cramps on the court.
But fueling definitely doesn't stop at tip-off. Because basketball uniquely allows for natural breaks in action, timeouts and halftimes, players have to exploit these gaps.
During the game, you want to consume 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour to preserve cognitive function and sprint speed late in the fourth quarter. You also got to keep fluid loss under 2% of body weight. The rule of thumb, if you lose a pound of sweat, drink 16 ounces of fluid to replace it. And crucially, there's an immediate 30 to 60 minute post-game recovery window. This is when muscles act like sponges, super sensitive to amino acids and glucose. Hitting roughly 1 gram of carbs per kilo plus 20 grams of protein right then is what sets up immediate recovery, which is an absolute game changer during back-to-back tournament play.
Finally, we hit phase 3, peaking for the pros, where we actually tune the engine.
Let's look at an incredible real-world case study from an NSCA coach. This trainer faced a massive challenge. The goal was to showcase elite explosiveness to NBA scouts at the Combine. The athlete had to prove he could cover hyper-athletic guards and create his own shot. But here was the major constraint. They only had 5 weeks to train. Now, normally to build explosive power, coaches rely on complex Olympic lifts like cleans or snatches. But this trainer wisely realized that trying to teach highly technical movements in just 5 short weeks was way too risky. The learning curve was too steep, and an injury would ruin everything. They had to find a completely different way to tune this engine. So, what did they do? They built this brilliantly structured 5-day split that completely revolutionized the athlete's power, totally bypassing Olympic lifting. Notice the really careful balance here. Days 1 and 4 focus intensely on explosive loaded jumps and pneumatic squats, with a heavy emphasis on single leg strength. Why single leg? Because almost every player has a dominant jumping leg. Eliminating that weaker, non-dominant side is exactly how you maximize total vertical power and protect against injury. Days 2 and 5 are designed to isolate the hips, using kettlebell swings and dynamic movements. This builds explosive power without the constant joint-crushing impact of jumping. And right smack in the middle, Day 3 is dedicated entirely to active recovery.
To really fire up those fast-twitch muscle fibers within this split, they relied heavily on contrast sets. Imagine this, the athlete does heavy dumbbell jumps, drops the weight, and immediately goes into explosive bodyweight jumps. It totally tricks the nervous system into recruiting more fast-twitch fibers. They also use these accommodating variable pulley systems with bands attached to the arms to specifically train arm swing velocity, because throwing your arms up faster directly enhances jump height. On top of that, they use pneumatic squat machines to track power digitally in real time, making sure maximum wattage was produced on every single rep. And again, heavy kettlebell swings for hip extension minimize the joint fatigue you usually get from endless jump training.
After 5 grueling weeks of this meticulous program, the payoff was just absolute. The athlete shattered expectations, recording a jaw-dropping, combine best 44-inch max vertical jump. That is an elite, top-tier professional number, representing a massive 7-inch increase from exactly where he started.
And it all culminated in the ultimate result. By seamlessly merging structural strength to build the chassis, precise sports nutrition to provide the optimal fuel, and hyper-focused power training to finally tune the engine, this blueprint successfully mentored a professional athlete, getting him selected in the second round of the 2015 NBA draft. It just goes to show you that raw talent alone isn't enough. It requires a highly systematic, scientific approach to physical development.
So, taking a hard look at your own training or coaching paradigm, ask yourself, are you meticulously building a high-performance sports car only to put the wrong gas in the tank and leave the engine totally untuned? Take a step back and see which pillar of this blueprint you might currently be neglecting. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep pushing, keep optimizing, and go build that elite engine.